Hello everybody, my name is Phileas the DM, and welcome to a Dungeon Master tip video. I was never going to do one of these, but I was kind of lost what video to do. I didn't want to do any more sort of AI stuff yet anyway. Um, but I thought, why not do a Dungeon Master tip video? These are a small number of tips I have, but I just thought I would go through what are a very small number and see if people liked them. Maybe I have more. I'll do that soon, probably. But yes, sorry, I am going to keep looking to my right every now and then. So if I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking over there. Tip number one. I don't know why I'm doing that voice, but there we go. Tip number one. It is okay, in my opinion, to say no as a dungeon master. However, there has to be a good reason. And the reason can't be, oh, it's breaking my game, or it's doesn't fit my narrative. Because if the players have come up with a creative solution around your problems, then do it. I'm more than happy for my players to break problems I have. However, with spells such as like control water, I won't allow them to control people's blood. Do hemocraft essentially in order to, use that. That kind of goes beyond what I would allow. And so in those instances, it is, in my opinion, okay to say no. That works for my games, and my players understand where they can push and where they can't. But they're more than happy to have a discussion with me and go, can I use the spell that way? Explaining their reasoning, and then I would say yes or no. But I would only really say it's okay to say no as using spells, or kind of trying to use a skill in a different way than it was intended. But normally, if they say, "Oh, can I use this skill for that?" I'll just go, "No, this is the skill you'd want to use." But if you want to use a different ability modifier for it, like how would you do it, like strength or intimidation? It's fine. But again, so yeah, that's the first one. It's okay to say no as a dungeon master, but only if there is a good reason. Number two. I'm speaking weirdly. Number two is nothing is set in stone. And what I mean by that is if your world and your plot and the NPCs are kind of in a fluid kind of timey-wimey space. Essentially, they can just because you've got a plot coming up, and you in your head you go, this is the baddie, this is the big bad, this is the baddie. But as you get further in, and as your players are kind of getting further into the plot, you might go, actually, this person makes more sense as the baddie, so I'll make them it. Or if the players have, um, or they have an opinion of who it might be, and they have an opinion of who it might be, and if you think that's fine, because at the end of the day, you want your players to succeed. You want to make it tough for them, obviously, but you want them to succeed. It's not you versus them; it's you with them. So why not make them feel good about it? But I do this quite often in my games. It's there for no reason other than you know a uh, a plot point, but that's it. Sorry, my dog is being a fool. All right. But yeah, so and then I further down the line, I kind of turn them into a bigger point, a bigger plot point, just for a bit of fun. But again, I've changed a lot of my plots as I've gone along. Some of them I've kept. But when I started my current campaign, I had a certain idea who the big bad to be, and I introduced them in episode one. As I went along, I decided that actually the big bad wasn't who I thought it was. Who wasn't what I said it was. To myself, I never said it to them, obviously. Um, and had that change and had that kind of evolve and kind of because I started it as a big bad was a big bad because it's bad. Right. Um, and as I went on and the plot grew, and everything grew, I had the big bad be less obvious and also have them maybe not necessarily being what people think they are. And then going from there. So yeah, I fully believe, and this is one of my tips: nothing is set in stone, and even sometimes, even after something is said out of your mouth, but you say it as the NPC, the NPC could be wrong. You know, the NPC could be wrong. Uh, doesn't mean every NPC knows everything. Tip number 3. This isn't. This is pretty obvious to probably every DM, but I'm going to put it down anyway. And it's let your players talk. So yeah, let your players talk. The less you as a DM have to communicate, in my opinion, the better. Because in my opinion, if your players are talking, sometimes they come up with the plot points for you, and sometimes they come up with things in your world that you didn't think of, in terms of like what their culture is, kind of what they're feeling, locations that they come up with as they're talking. Um, and sometimes there's some of the best sessions I've had as a dungeon master is where I've been able to sit around and say nothing other than the intro and the outro, and that's it. And I just think it's nothing new. I think every DM knows this. But I'm more than happy to sit there and let my players talk. Um, and there's no better feeling than having notes, like notes galore. I don't over prep. There is such a thing as over prepping. That's another tip. Do you know what I mean? Um, let your players talk. And if you don't go through any of your notes, that is fine, in my opinion. Um, alrighty. On to my final tip. This one, I learned by going to a dungeon master academy, and they had a thing of how to get your players emotionally involved. And what kind of we've discussed and what we figured is death saves. So I used to do death saves in private. Oh wait. I found a good way to get people emotionally invested is when they start the death saves, have them come up with a memory for their character. Doesn't necessarily, and it's normally like a happy memory. So if the player succeeds the death save, the memory goes as they expect it to go, how they remembered. But if they fail, have the death save twist the memory, have the memory be modified in some way, corrupted, maybe something to do with the creature they're fighting, or just something that concern they have, or something that a player has said outwardly as their character that they're concerned about something. I would have this thing appear in the death save, in the failure, just to kind of get them invested and get them like interested in the character, into certainly into their emotional state. Um, and that's worked quite well because it also, as well as having kind of another meaning to death saves, it also allows your players to think, actually, what memories do my character have? You may have some players who straight away go, "Yep, character. Yeah, that's the memory. I have the memory." Um, but others who maybe don't necessarily think about their background that much, or think about their backstory and what they did before they started going around killing goblins, dragons, and all that jazz. Um, give them a new memory, or have them come up with a memory, and then have them live it by succeeding in the death saves, or have it be corrupted and twisted against them. for the bad saves, for the failures. And I find that it gets your players invested in two ways in terms of they're coming up with a memory, which is great. And then they are also getting emotionally invested because they're failing when they're failing. And it, it twists the memory, and especially when they come out of it, and let's say best case scenario, they succeeded, um, or someone healed them, that memory is still with them. And it's kind of a point of, uh, I can push through. It's you want to succeed on. I mean, you want to succeed on saves anyway. But it's like by your character having these memories, having a memory of something good that happens to them. When those three successes happen, your character is sort of re-energized. This memory is like, actually, no, this is the reason why I'm alive. This is the reason why I'm doing this. Um, and have them come out and fight essentially. Um, but yeah, I have more tips. This is just the tips that I'm going to do today. But this is all my tips. So, if everyone enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. This is the first time I've done a face cam. I don't know how that's gone. I don't know why I'm doing this. But yeah, I don't have anything else. No, other than the normal YouTube stuff like, comment, subscribe, and all that. Just do that if you want. I will leave a link in my book as well, as I'm an affiliate with Dakota Irish, which is a tabletop shop where you can buy dice, accessories, etc. And if you use my code, you get 10% off. Um, and I also do get 5% off the purchases, so that helps me as well. I'll leave that in the link in the description if you want to look at that. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed. I hope everyone enjoyed the new format and my face. That's a weird thing to say. There we go. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good rest of your day. Bye.